What is going on, guys? This is Walk Talk Football, the show where we talk about everything that's on your mind. Today we are talking Premier League, we're talking La Liga, we're talking some other leagues around Europe, around the globe, South America, and guess what? We're talking some transfers, so let's walk. All right, guys, first up today, we've got a lot of good submissions, so I appreciate you guys. Keep sending that stuff in all week long. We are paying attention everywhere. We're going to make sure we put those on the show if they're worthy of it or if they're good questions or good comments or whatever. So first up, is there any way Chelsea sells Hazard to City? Surely if they're going to sell him, they would sell him to a Spanish side or somewhere else abroad. 150 million would be a steal. Thoughts? Well, he's got a contract till June 2020, so he's still worth quite a bit of money. That's almost a little more than 2 seasons away going into the back end. This summer will be 2 seasons away. I think he's around 27 years old or something like that, so he's definitely going to be hitting his prime. So if they are going to sell him, if they're looking to make money, they're going to have to sell him soon. I don't know. I think if the price is right, 150 million, I don't think we'll get him at this point, but 160, 170, 180 could actually get the deal done. And if that is the case, if City came in and paid that for him, I do think it would be good business for Chelsea to sell him. Yes, it will piss a bunch of people off, but this is just sort of the game at the moment. But I do think also he could go to a Spanish giant or a Juventus or whatever and do well. But I don't think anybody in Italy is going to pay that kind of money. Do you think Cavani or Di Maria will leave PSG next season, or both? I think Di Maria will leave PSG. There's rumors of Barcelona. He's got that quality. He is used to playing at super clubs, so there's very few clubs that I think could handle him. He could maybe go to Italy as well. I could see him going to Napoli or Juventus or something like that. I don't know. It's not Barcelona. It's not going to be Real Madrid. It's not going to be, I don't think, Manchester United again or another big English club is going to come in for him and spend what they have to spend to get him, or even think that he might even be a value. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player, but Cavani, I think he should stay. He is Mr. PSG now. He broke Zlatan's record for goals, and I think he'll continue to do that. And with Neymar now, it seems like they're starting to get along a little bit, so that's exciting times. Even though we do like the drama, it's good to see them starting to have kind of like a budding friendship or a kind of a little bit more teamwork on the field. So Aymeric Laporte signing for City for a club record 65 million. Does his price tag mean he should settle in immediately? Yes, if I'm a club that's spending that kind of money on a defender, right, now will be the most expensive signing Manchester City have ever had, most expensive, and it's for a defender. They've spent now 300 million. Obviously, we gave John Stone a little bit of a break because of the form that the team is in this year, but last year they killed him. Everybody killed him. The media killed him. And it's not just about the media, fans. Everybody was killing him because he wasn't playing up to the quality that they thought 50 million should be worth. So I think he should have to settle in right away. He's only 23 years old. He's a quality player, and hopefully this gets him into the French or Spanish national team, whichever one he ends up kind of deciding on, if he can decide on one. Do you think Arsenal will make a late top 4 push with the proven Mickey Aubameyang combo? Is their defense too shaky? Look, if they can get through the Tottenham, Man City, and Everton spell with 7 points or more, then I think they can make a late push. After that, I think they've only got Manchester United, I think, is the only big club that they have left to play. So if they can get through that, then I certainly think they have a chance to make it into the top 4. But their defense is shaky. But that's my take on that. Giroud, Batshuayi, and Aubameyang all playing musical chairs. What club's getting the best deal? That's tough to say. Giroud is so good, but if he went to Chelsea, I think he would be kind of a super sub again, or could be rotating with Morata. But he is a quality player, can score a lot of goals. Hasn't proven to be super, super great for Arsenal when he's a starter. Batshuayi has been incredible for Chelsea, but obviously not getting the looks that he wants. And I think if he went to Dortmund, he would be a good signing. He's 23 or 24, something like that, has tons of potential left in him, and shows that when he's given the opportunity, he can dominate. But I'm going to go with Aubameyang because I'm an Arsenal fan, and he's going to be a record signing in terms of wages and everything like that. The most expensive player ever in terms of wages at Arsenal, and that means something. We're talking about more than Thierry Henry. We're talking about more than any of these greats. Obviously, they wouldn't give that to Sanchez. They wouldn't give it to Ozil. So it'll be interesting to see if that pans out. But I do think that the best signing will be for Arsenal, hopefully anyway. Where will Neymar be playing next season? Will he stay at PSG or look elsewhere? He's going to be at PSG. It doesn't matter where he's going to be looking. That means nothing. The reality is that he's worth a lot of money. They paid a ton of money for him. And I don't see another team coming out saying, hey, we're going to pay 300 million for him now to get him to go anywhere. The only club that could do that is Real Madrid, and I don't ever see that happening. So I think he'll be at PSG for a while. Do Do you think Madrid will do whatever it takes to land Harry Kane in the summer? Speaking of the money that Real Madrid have, I think they will spend it on Harry Kane. I think it's the last opportunity for Zidane, who believes in the current squad that he has, to improve the squad. Harry Kane is far better than Karim Benzema, at least at the moment. Karim Benzema has had his days, but I think it's going to cost 220, 230, 240, 250 or something like that to get Harry Kane, and I think they're going to pay it. I think they're going to do whatever it takes. Of course, he could. He stated his will to want to stay at Tottenham, but a club like Real Madrid comes in with that kind of money, you're probably going to go, and I think that they will put out the funds to make that happen. Do either Zidane or Emery get to keep their job if they lose the Real Madrid versus PSG Champions League tie? I think Zidane's going to keep his job for sure, and I think Emery as well. They're 11 points clear in the league, something like that, I believe. 11 points clear in the league. They lost to Lyon a couple weeks ago, but Lyon have to play against Monaco this weekend, so that could kind of buffer them even more if Monaco can get a result, because Monaco are fighting for a top 3. They're currently in 4th place. So I don't think either of them will lose their job. I think it'll be an important day for them, but I also think Zidane will get one more transfer window where he can bring in his Harry Kane and then get back on track. So Portuguese League Cup. Sporting won the semis versus Porto and went on to win the trophy with a two-hands cup semifinal and a league away game versus Porto being played in the next 30 days. Do you think these Sporting versus Porto matches will decide the season overall winners in Portugal? Look, Porto is in first place right now with the game in hand, and they're up 1 point, I believe. Sporting beat Porto in one of their cups, the Carlsberg Cup, in the semifinals, went on to win the finals in penalties. Now they're playing a two-legged affair in the Portuguese Cup semifinals, and they're playing, I think, in the league coming up or something like that. Anyways, there's a lot of big games going on. I think this will decide that. Between the two teams, they're kind of neck and neck fighting for a title, and I think whoever can pull off these results, unless it's another shootout like they had last time, I think you're going to see that person or that team winning the league overall. I was always a supporter of VAR use in the game, but seeing it in the FA Cup this weekend was so frustrating. Do you think it messes with the flow of the game too much? What could speed things up? I don't think anything can speed things up. It's very early on in the days, but I think people will eventually be thankful of what VAR is, because of that can be the difference of a win or a loss for a team, and that win or a loss could be the difference of playing Champions League or not playing Champions League, or getting relegated or staying in the league. So I think there's going to be these early frustrations. Yes, it killed the flow, especially in the FA Cup. They were going back, and it was like 3 minutes in between all these things, but the game itself wasn't all that great anyway. So I'm talking about the Liverpool game against West Brom. But look, it will be frustrating until it's not anymore, and when it's not, it'll become a much more perfected science, and we'll all appreciate it a lot more, or we'll just keep complaining about it. Either way, I think it's important to have it part of the game. Speaking of the Liverpool game, what the hell is going on with Liverpool? So they beat City, then they lose to Swansea, then they lose to West Brom, and this is the difference between these great teams this time of year. They're playing in a lot of competitions. It's hard to be consistent because of that, and I think Liverpool just doesn't have that right now. Do I think that they could still go deep and potentially even reach a final in the Champions League? Absolutely. Do I think that they're still fighting for a top 4 finish, or not even top 4, second to 4th? I think they're in 4th place right now, and just a few points out of second. So I think they're doing just fine. It's just that consistency. A string of 2-3 poor games can change things, but I think Liverpool do have that quality. Not the quality to win, but definitely the quality to finish in the top 4. Should have been shown a red card for his tackle on Sané, 100%. That should have 100% been a red card. That was like mid-shin. That's actually exactly how I broke my leg back in the day, except it came from the outside instead of the inside. Guy came right through me, same height, still got a big old bump on my leg from when I snapped it. Who will suffer the most out of this transfer? Martial, Rashford, or Mata? That's in reference to Alexis Sanchez. Mata has played the most out of all of them. Rashford has been probably the most productive out of all of them. Martial has been the least productive. So I'd say Martial, but I do think they're all going to suffer. But look, everybody's going to be excited to have a player like that on their team, that kind of quality. But you're right, there's only 11 positions on the field, and I think someone's going to have to pay the price by sitting on the bench or being willing to rotate. Just really depends on where they deploy Alexis in the long term. What do you think about the future of Scottish football? Will we see Aberdeen, Dundee, Celtic, and Rangers and more compete with Europe's best again? I don't think so. Look, these are super clubs we're talking about now. These are, I almost lost my hat, man. These are super clubs, and I don't think Scottish football can afford to compete with that. This is all about money now. It's about big teams, big players, and just stacking them. And I don't see when, unless Scottish teams decided to join the BPL or whatever it is. I just don't see how they could compete. Maybe Europa League. I think Scottish football could get their kicks in Europa League, competing with some of the better teams in Europe and showing that the league is strong and that they have a lot of quality. But compete with Europe's best could be a while. The super clubs exist, and it's just too hard to compete with. Why do Americans and all those from countries that are known for low level of soccer follow and focus so much on the British league? I think it's an access thing. I think English language, it's easy to read and get content about it. I say, okay, you can get English games in the other leagues, but also getting the content around it, which is kind of why we exist. We want to give you guys stuff from all the leagues, not just the Premier League, but also La Liga, also Serie A, all these different leagues, and that's kind of why we're trying to do that, so we can provide more content for you guys to know and follow more leagues and follow more teams and follow more storylines. But I don't have the exact answer for that. I can't speak for all the people who come from countries that were low, where soccer is poor or whatever, or poor quality. South American football is undervalued is it undervalued by people in the States? Absolutely. I don't think it's undervalued. I just think it's underknown. I don't think too many people know about South American football. It's hard to follow. Again, it's a language thing. The Brazilian league is great, but when everything is always in Portuguese, if you don't understand Portuguese, it's hard to understand. Yes, you can follow a game and watch it, but if there's a player you like, it's hard to find information on him, all those types of things. So it's the language barriers, but I think with globalization and I think with the internet and everything, it's bringing all that stuff closer together. What do you think about the stiff competition in the MLS Eastern Conference? This year, I'm just interested to see what happens to like the Columbus of the world with all that's going on with them. I want to see Philly bounce back. I'd love to see who else is on the East that I'd love to see bounce back? We know Red Bulls are going to do well. We know NYCFC is going to do well. We know that Toronto is going to do well. Montreal to be determined. I think. Who else? Who am I missing? DC? What?
Toronto.
Atlanta. Oh, Atlanta's going to do well. They're great. I did Toronto already. Mike's the only one that has the best listening. He has headphones on and doesn't remember. Gosh, no one listens to me anymore. What do you think about Beckham's finally getting his team? Miami already had one shot at MLS. They're going to do it right this time. I don't know about Miami. I'm excited for them. I think it sucks for the fans of the other Miami club from NASL last year. I'm not sure what's going to happen to them, but I'm excited for them. I'm excited for the community to have a team that they can support. It's been a long time coming. Hopefully people haven't lost their enthusiasm to support the game and follow it. Obviously it failed before, but that was a long time ago. I think the game has progressed. So I think it'll be great. At least I'm hoping it will be. Is it too early to implement promotion and relegation in US soccer, or is it about time? I support a D4 team, Stockade FC, and a lot of lower division teams have big footprints in the soccer landscape. I do think it's too early. I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's from a business standpoint, it makes sense. I would love for it to make sense. I've played in a promotion relegation system. I've been trying to fight for promotion. I've been relegated. I know what that's like. The pressure and everything I think is great for development, but there has to be a sustainable system behind it. And right now we have a lot of talking from a bunch of different people. We saw Silva with his $4 billion proposal during a time where TV contracts were completely tied up for the next X amount of years. So it wasn't realistic at that time. Do I think it's something that is important for the future of the game at some point? Absolutely. And I look forward to the day when that happens. But lower division soccer, I'm all about that. I grew up watching what was called the Stanislaus County Cruisers, which I think was D3 at the time, and it was amazing for the community. We used to get good attendance. Obviously, the finances didn't allow it to survive, and that's what my fear is for at the moment. But I think we're moving towards something like that, and we'd all love to see that someday. Thoughts on Rochester Rhinos having to take the season off because of financial difficulties? Is it time for money to be pumped into USL? I don't think pumping money is the right thing to do. I think strategy. I think USL has been a little bit more clever with the way that they've aligned with Major League Soccer than what NASL did. I think NASL was up against it from the very, very beginning, but I think USL has paid far less wages. With the less wages, you get less quality. That's the reality. I think the reality is that the better wages, you're going to get better players, but you're going to get more sustainability. And I think in the long term of that for USL, it's going to prove to be better for development. You're going to get better players joining it, knowing that this can be a stepping stone for them or career players to play in USL and be part of communities. So there's no perfect answer to that, but I don't think pumping money in is the right thing, because you'll quickly find out that when that money dries up, then these teams and owners disappear. I think it's about local ownership, local communities all rallying behind something that can grow organically over time. All right, guys, time for my favorite part of the show, to address you haters. Did this fool really say Benzema is one of the best, Real Madrid's best players? Well, he was at a certain point. I mean, he's still quality, right? He's still a good player, or at least was. I don't know. LMAO, sorry, Heath, I'm going to come out as a hater, but you wouldn't make it in Liga MX. That hurts. It's probably true. I'm like almost limping right now because just having to walk this much in a day. And the final one that we have is the route picker is becoming lazy. I've seen this route at least 4 consecutive Walk Talk Football episodes. Are you guys near Manhattan? If so, walk through the park once or something. I really don't know New York City, to be honest. I think that's a great shout. I love that you didn't blame me for that. You blamed the route picker, which is Patrick Inferna. Always, if anything ever goes wrong, just blame Patrick Inferna. Get down in the comments, blame Patrick Inferna for anything that goes wrong. If there's a glitch, if something doesn't look right, blame Patrick Inferna. Okay, that's just the way, that's going to be the moral of the story. That's what I've always done. You know, I say, oh, the intern, he was a full-time employee this whole time, and I would just say, oh, the intern messed it up. I'm just kidding, I love that guy. But guys, that is all we have time for today. This is a longer episode. I'm getting out of breath. And make sure you get down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. Could Aubameyang actually do well at Arsenal? Do you think Giroud will do well if he goes to Chelsea? Let me know, and make sure you like, and if you haven't, make sure you subscribe. See ya.